Hello and welcome back to my channel, Civil War Reports. I am your War of the Rebellion reporter, Brian Thomas Kopak, and today we're going to continue with my series on the assault on Southern Civil War history, particularly in this case that we'll be looking at today, a monument to the Confederate soldiers located inside a cemetery. And I also want to give a shout out to my coworker Matthew, who always seems to be relentlessly looking for articles along this line for me to discuss. And, I really thought I would only do a handful of episodes on Southern monuments over the course of how many years I plan to keep this channel going. But here we are. By the way, the channel celebrated its 1-year anniversary on June 5th of this year. So just a little bit, not even 13 months old, and I'm already doing my 6th episode on Southern Civil War monuments. So today, unfortunately, I can't get on location because I'm here in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to be speaking about the Western Theater, pretty much as far west as one can go. I'm going to be talking about a cemetery in Liberty, Missouri. And while I've never been to Missouri myself, let alone to Liberty, I do plan to go there one day, visit the state. Because one of the previous owners of my house served actually in a Confederate cavalry unit, 5th Missouri, CSA, before moving back east and, becoming the owner of my home. So I do have plans to get out to Missouri. But today I'm going to talk about a particular monument in a particular cemetery. There exists a 23-foot high monument, and it was placed there in 1904 by the Daughters of the Confederacy. And unfortunately, one of the things I've noticed doing research on this monument issue is that it appears that anything that has the Daughters of the Confederacy attached to it is in the crosshairs of the woke agenda that wants to erase Civil War history. Now, this is what is upsetting to me on this issue. Likewise, it's similar with the situation with the Confederate monument inside the Confederate section at Arlington National Cemetery that I spoke about in a previous episode. That this is a monument inside a cemetery. While you may not like what the Confederacy stood for or fought for, it's a cemetery. A place where we're supposed to honor the dead. A place of people's, what should be, final resting place. So this issue is not new in regard to this monument in Liberty, Missouri. It's actually in the Fairview Cemetery within Liberty. This has been going on for a couple of years now, and it really started to gain momentum after George Floyd was murdered by a policeman. And again, let's look at the George Floyd murder. Yes, the man did not deserve to die, but he was not killed in the South. So what's upsetting there is people are appropriating and using this terrible incident to expand it into something that had nothing to do with the man's murder in the first place. Yes, George Floyd's murder was horrible and should never happen to any American ever, ever again. But likewise, it's also wrong to use that event for something completely different. There is going to be a town meeting in Liberty on June 26th. From what I can gather, that is not listed on the town council's agenda. However, it can be brought up for discussion. It's only a matter of time to see if that will actually happen. So, in my opinion, we need to continue to stay vigilant if we want to preserve Southern Civil War history. And I think we need to remember our past, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the beautiful, because it's all American history. And once we forget our history, I truly believe by the old saying, we are doomed to repeat it. On a more upbeat note. And this channel is not one-sided. This channel is not just pro-Southern history. This channel is pro-Southern, pro-Northern, and what I also like to refer to as the third side of the Civil War, the story of Black Americans, slaves, free men, runaways. And sticking with Liberty, Missouri, I am very, very happy to announce that several people undertook the painstaking task of identifying 761 unmarked graves for Black Americans. I'm going to assume that probably most of these folks were at some point in time in their lives slaves, based upon the dates that I saw that these people lived and died. And that is fantastic, because even though they were slaves at the time, they are still human beings. And there's probably nothing worse than being in an unmarked grave, that nobody knows who you are or where you are in your final resting place. And I point this out because I feel it's very important that we identify and respect all people, regardless of what side they fought on during the American Civil War. And it's really great that these 761 people buried in both the Fairview and New Hope Cemetery in and around Liberty, Missouri, can now have some sort of recognition and maybe rest in peace a little easier. And before I end this episode, I just want to do a follow-up. A viewer of mine posted on the comments section of episode 22, in which I spoke about Florida, their proposed law, the Senate Bill SB 1096, that would have made it illegal to damage or remove any Confederate monument within the state of Florida. A viewer left a comment, and I did follow up, and sadly it's true, that bill did not make it through legislation. It did not make it to Governor Ron DeSantis' desk. However, I did read that the state Senate is going to try again in the next legislative session. So I hope the folks that are watching this realize that this channel is not just one-sided. Okay, this channel is trying to support and convey and report as accurately as possible all aspects of the American Civil War: the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. I just hope that this issue on the Southern monuments does not continue to divide America, and that we can respect all people, honor all of our veterans, North and South, and again, as I've stated before, there's nothing stopping people from erecting a plaque or a monument near a Southern monument that tells another side of the Civil War, if they feel that the monument or plaque to the Confederacy is somehow violating people's rights or offending them. It's actually pretty sad how offended people get so easily these days. Let's just try to respect everybody. For Civil War Reports, I am your War of the Rebellion reporter, Brian Thomas Kopak. Thank you for watching. And until next time, please just try to respect everyone. And if you like what you saw today, please hit the subscribe button. Give a thumbs up. Also, notify your friends. Let them know about this channel and ask them to subscribe as well. If you like, you may leave a question or a comment below, and perhaps I will answer your question in a future episode of Civil War Reports. Until next time, please keep the history alive.